So I'm tweaking my lane pants pattern one more time. So it's really such a small adjustment that I wasn't sure if I wanted to make a full video on it, but ultimately I decided to film this process because I really feel like it's the little alterations we make to clothes that can have such a big impact on not just our fit, but our overall comfort. So here is my adjustment. I am taking 1 inch off of the center back of my pants and blending it out to 0 at the side seam. I have been wearing my lane pants a ton, and particularly on my linen pants and my gingham ruffle pair, I've been noticing just a little bit of bubbling at the center back there. And it's not really a huge deal, but I just thought that the next time that I make these pants, I wanted to make this small adjustment and see if that fixes it. Fast forward to me going a little bit crazy during the Lyrical Fabrics spring sale. And I also have been really wanting a pair of green lane pants that are track pant inspired with some like sporty stripes down the side. So I decided to pick up this green cotton gauze. And in my head, I was thinking I was just gonna pick up some white bias tape to make those kind of racing stripes on the side. But then I thought it might be a little weird to have the stripes be so smooth compared to this cotton gauze. So I ended up picking up this baby yellow cotton gauze for the stripes. And I made that decision really just because it was the only light color of cotton gauze that they had. But then I started getting really excited about this color combination. It's really nice when your limitations in a project actually help you work your creative muscles and get you a better end product. So that's what I'm hoping for this project. Guys, something awful happened to me just now. I was going to start sewing and I just wanted to make a bobbin real quick. And then look what happened. I thought I had thread and then suddenly I didn't. So I had to go to the store and pick up some thread, but I guess it's not a huge deal because I also needed some baby yellow thread. I didn't have any of that, so I would have had to go to the store eventually. But it's not a pleasant sewing experience when you're literally about to go ahead and sew and you suddenly don't have thread. I do not recommend that at all. But I guess it's not a big deal because I do have a Michael's pretty close by, and it's fine because I got some cold brew. But now it's time to start sewing. So originally I was gonna make a toile of this adjustment, but I don't know if it's the rainy weather or what, but I just could not get myself to actually push through and make that toile. My brain just did not want to do it. I think it's just such a small adjustment that my brain was like rejecting the notion that I needed to make another toile. So I'm just gonna consider this my wearable toile. I am like 90% sure that it'll end up fine. So that's why I'm going to add the little details that I want. So it's not really like how I usually do my toiles, which is to say that I don't put effort into my toiles being like really wearable most of the time. But I did go ahead and kind of baste my changes in my gingham pair. And I didn't make the changes permanent, but just from kind of pinching it out and basting it in place, I could kind of see that I think this change is going to be exactly what I need. And I'm still debating, honestly, if I want to go through the trouble of like permanently altering the lane pants that I have already. I think I do want to do it eventually. Let's first see how this looks and make sure I like it before I commit to that. Okay, it's another day working in my studio, and yesterday I left off joining the front and back pants at the side seam here. So now I want to add my track inspired stripes. So I went ahead this morning and made some bias tape with the baby yellow fabric. And I gotta be honest, I feel like my bias tape is not all like the same width, but I'm just gonna go with it and Hopefully it's not noticeable in the final product. This double gauze fabric is a great exercise in letting go as a perfectionist because the fabric is so spongy, and also you're not supposed to iron out the crinkles completely, otherwise when you wash it, it's gonna like get sucked up again and your garment will end up way smaller than intended. So not everything is lining up as exact as I usually like it, but I think it's like within 1/8 of an inch difference. So I'm just gonna let go and not let perfectionism stop me from finishing these pants. But I will say, I don't know that I will use double gauze ever again. I will try to finish up the fabric that I have, but I don't know if I'll purchase it again to work with. I wasn't expecting to feel this way though, because I do have a couple of dresses in my wardrobe that are made out of this fabric. So I thought I would really enjoy working with it because those dresses are super comfortable to wear. But at least I'm learning something that I don't like so that I can avoid it in the future. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add these little racing stripes, and I'm going to use a glue stick to kind of attach these to the pant leg, and maybe I'll even baste them in place. I'm thinking about using a cover stitch setting on my B68 machine to attach it because I think that it'll go by super quick if I'm able to use like the twin needle and have it top stitch on either side in one pass. But because it's gonna be quick, it might not catch everything really nice. So that's why I think I wanna go through the trouble of gluing it and also basting it in place if necessary. So yeah, let me get started on that. Honestly, I'm at the point of this project where I really just want to see the finished product, but I know that once I got these racing stripes on, the rest of the pants will be worked up in a breeze and I can finally see if that adjustment is exactly what I needed. So let me go ahead and get started. So I've been sitting here hand basting the bias tape onto the pants, and I've got to tell you something, I hate it. Honestly, it's fine, but it's just not perfect, and that is really getting on my nerves. And I just don't think it's possible to make this perfect because this is homemade bias tape, and I always just feel like my bias tape doesn't come out like the best, the most accurate. Maybe it's because I'm not using a rotary cutter, I don't know. In a case like this where it needs to be super visible, it is just not even, and also the cotton gauze on top of that is not even, and it's really bothering me. But I think I'm gonna push through and just finish this process, finish putting the stripe on there, and I'm going to pretend like it's whimsical and try to be fine with it. At the very least, I want to see this through and just hand baste it and sew it and see what I really think about it. But I want you to know that this is so hard and I am being so brave by tackling my perfectionism. I don't like it. Okay, it's Saturday night and I don't usually film on the weekends, but I wanted to film just a little bit of an update. And yes, I'm wearing basically the same clothes as yesterday, but the people at the birthday party that I just went to didn't see this outfit, so it was a new outfit for them. Anyway, I was trying to push through and embrace the imperfections of a handmade bias tape and just try to get through it. And I basted the whole thing, sewed it down. And the thing is, I can look past the bias tape not being perfect because who's really gonna notice it from a distance anyway? But the thing that was really bugging me was that the bias tape was not getting fully caught on either folded edge. And I think it's kind of due to the nature of it being like a double layered gauze fabric. So maybe one of the layers got caught, but the other one didn't. And I feel like if I just keep going with this bias tape, the end result will be a garment that doesn't last very long in my wardrobe, because the ends that did not get caught with that straight stitch are gonna end up so frayed as I wash my pants. And so I just feel like that's not really where I want to go with this, and so I'm gonna pivot. I went ahead and picked up some rickrack, and I was gonna pick up rickrack in a yellow color, but the rickrack in the yellow color was just so bright and I wasn't really vibing with that color combination. So I think this lime green rickrack will be a much nicer color combo. The other thing about this bias tape that I wasn't really loving is I feel like in my head, this butter yellow and this green combination was gonna look really nice, but because the darker green color is coming through on that butter yellow, it's kind of just dulling the color a little bit, so it's not popping as nice as I want. So yeah, I am going to probably spend a little bit of time this weekend seam ripping all that work, and then I will go ahead and sew this on and finish up my pants from there. It's a bit of a pivot, but I think the end result will be worth it. I think I'll just be way happier with the results with this rickrack. So I'm gonna spend my evening and weekend seam ripping, and I'll give you an update on Monday. Okay, I'm back in the studio today, and like I said in the last clip, I did go ahead and remove that bias tape and replace it with the rickrack. So this is how it's looking. So I am gonna go ahead and finish up these pants completely so we can finally see how the adjustments look on. I'm always interested in the little details, so I wanna tell you about how I am approaching top stitching and understitching for these pants, because I think I wanna do it a little bit differently than the previous lane pants that I had made. So before I applied the bias tape, I did just understitch that seam, and I did that for two reasons. One, because I think understitching just looks nicer and makes the seams lay nicer. And two, because I didn't really want this seam to be flopping around on the inside and getting tangled in weird ways. So I thought just putting that little understitching would help mitigate that problem. And for all the inseam seams, I am planning on just understitching and not doing that second row of top stitching, just because this is such a lightweight fabric. In a way, I kind of regret doing 2 lines of top stitching on my first lane pants with that rainbow fabric, because that was also kind of a light and breezy fabric. So maybe the top stitching was just a little bit too heavy for that type of fabric. But I think 1 row of like a top stitching that is kind of acting like an understitch will work out nicely. So that will also speed up this process. So yeah, let me go ahead and get into it. I don't know how much of the sewing process I will film, since I have made the lane pants so many times on my channel, so I don't know if it's interesting at this point. Let me know if you're bored of lane pants videos, and then I probably won't film anymore, but I know I want to make more lane pants, so that's the bad thing. Anyway, let me get sewing. Okay, I've finished my pants, and I'm kind of mixed on how I feel on the final product. So I love the color of the fabric and the rickrack, but the fabric choice kind of messed me up again when it came to sewing the waistband. So I cut out my waistband pattern piece the same way I cut out the rest of the pattern pieces, but I didn't really take into account the fact that cutting the gauze in this way is just generally inaccurate, and that kind of matters a little bit more for the waistband than it does for the other pattern pieces. So basically, when the waistband was cut out semi-inaccurately because of the gauze, when it came time to top stitch, I didn't really do a great job because it is not accurately the correct width all the way around. So the top stitching kind of went like a little jagged and wonky. I probably should have used some interfacing to stabilize the waistband in place. That probably would have helped. I am debating on if I want to redo the waistband because I have plenty of leftover fabric, so I can easily cut a new one and redo it if I want to. But I also recently heard about a 3-foot rule in sewing to help perfectionism, which is something that I struggle with. If you haven't heard about it, like me, basically if you make a mistake in your sewing, the advice is to take a couple steps back, and if you can't notice your mistake from 3 feet away, then it's probably not worth it to fix. I mean, it's completely wearable and overall everything looks fine. It's just that one little mistake that bugs me, but I really want to wrap up this video and get this out, and maybe later I will come back and fix this waistband. Also, I was thinking maybe I should wash these pants first just to see how it looks after the first wash. I don't think that will fix the top stitching, obviously, but I just want to see if maybe things will shrink into place more or even maybe look worse. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm still debating in my head. Anyway, the real thing that we're trying to figure out in this video is, did the adjustment work? I'm gonna be completely real with you. I'm not sure, and it is kind of because of this gauze fabric again, but I am pretty sure the adjustment worked. I think these don't bubble up as much in the back as my other pants, but again, it's a bubble gauze fabric, so it is gonna bubble a little bit. That's just the nature of the fabric. Hey, it's editing Nabila, and I could not finish this video without actually finding out if this adjustment worked. So I quickly put together this toile this morning, and now I can finally see that that small tweak of the pattern did indeed get rid of that bubbliness at the waistband. Here's the before to jog your memory. Maybe I need to shave off a tiny bit of excess fabric from the side seam, but I am so happy with this improvement. So subscribe to see my next lane pants. Definitely fit me perfectly. I do think that these pants came out super comfortable, and I can see myself getting a lot of wear out of them over the summer especially. I take walks every single morning, and I could see myself wearing these for my daily walks. And right now I'm wearing some like polyester workout clothes, but I think it would be really nice to wear 100% cotton on my walks. So I am really excited to get some wear out of these. I also want to update you on my pattern adjustments for my back pattern piece of the lane pants. So at the hip line, that part of the pattern piece was tilted up by 1 inch. And when I tilted it up, the waistline became super slanted. So I think that's why I'm having that bubbling issue in some of my lane pants now. So for these pants, I brought that line down by 1 inch. So it is a similar angle to the original waistline. So if you look at the pattern, all I have done is adjusted the rise a little bit and given myself a tiny bit more room in the hips. All in all, these are kind of minor adjustments. And while I'm on the quest for the perfect fit of lane pants, these are elastic waist pants at the end of the day. So the waistband doesn't have the structure of like a regular hard pant. And so perfect fit is obviously subjective, but also there's got to be a little bit of wiggle room there because there's literally wiggle room in the elastic. Not to mention, when you're making elastic waist pants, the circumference of the waistband needs to be at least as large as your hip measurement. So I can't use darts in the shaping here. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing with this for a little bit, but at the same time, if the pants are comfortable and they function for my life, then I think they're great. Like, I don't actually need to keep tweaking it here or there, but I mean, I am really passionate about pattern making and fit adjustments, so I am just doing this for as long as it's fun for me. Please let me know in the comments if there are any patterns that you are tweaking over the years to get the perfect fit on. I would love to know about your perfect fit quests, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!